Guys, so I just watched a Tim Pool episode, and I think the episode was on the Family Guy. All right, the Family Guy apparently they're going to stop doing gay jokes. All right, which I'm like, cool, because I've always criticized the Family Guy as being selectively racist. All right, from the beginning of the show, they've never actually gone hard on the blacks or the Jews. They've never done low IQ jokes on the blacks. They've never done these crime jokes on the blacks. They've never done anything on the blacks that were actually stereotypically negative or stereotypically or negative. All right. And same thing with the Jews. They don't actually ever touch on the Palestinian issues. It's always softballs that they throw at the Jews and the blacks. But when it comes to everybody else, the gays, the Asians, the Latinos, everybody else, they'll go hard on, okay? Consuela on the show is actually a Mexican mammy. They did away with that since Gone with the Wind. And they canceled Gone with the Wind because there was a black mammy in that movie. All right? Now, here's the thing. If they had gone hard on blacks, Jews, then I would have said, you know what? They're kind of on the level with everybody. But the problem with these shows, the problem with these comedians like Bill Burr, Sarah Silverman, Seinfeld, all these people who are supposed to be anti-woke is that they don't go hard on the same level with everybody. They're woke for certain groups. All right, they're woke specifically for the blacks and the Jews for like the last 25 years prior to the whole social justice warrior movement. They've been pretty much trying to figure out where the boundaries are and then do their jokes around those boundaries. And I've always said that throughout this whole entire channel. All right, I've said this since the mid 1990s. All right, where they thought it was okay to go off on Asian Americans, go off on gays, go off on Latino Americans. They'll just shoot out any negative jokes out there. But when it came to blacks and Jews, they'll do positive stereotypes for them. All right, they'll do neutral stereotypes for them. Both of which are racial, but they're not racist. All right, people actually want positive stereotypes. Neutral stereotypes you can laugh at. There's nothing negative about it. All right. That's the kind of stereotypes they do for blacks and Jews that doesn't offend them. In fact, it actually compliments them in a lot of ways. And then they'll go and then what they'll do is with the Asian Americans, Latino Americans, gay Americans, they'll do the most negative, horrible, racist jokes that they can come up with, and then they'll put them all together and say, look, we were racist towards everybody. You were not racist towards everybody. All right, what you did was you gave compliments to the blacks and Jews with the positive jokes, with the positive stereotype jokes and the neutral stereotypes jokes, and then you went on negatively racist on the Asian Americans, the Latino Americans, the LGBTs, groups that they can get away with. And since the whole SJW movement, where people have but been given a voice, they see what they see. So they're going to go out and have a voice and speak against that, which is what they should do. Unfortunately, previous to the whole social justice warrior movement, there was no way for most groups to have a voice to speak out against this bullying, this cultural bullying for the last 25 years since the mid 1990s, even with blacks and Jews and everybody and white comedians, entertainers, just going full force negative with the racism against everybody else. Now it is their turn. All right, now the chickens are coming home to roost. All right, this is not about just jokes. All right, when you put something on TV, when you put something, when you throw out a joke where your audience is in the thousands, your audience is in the millions, and in some cases hundreds of millions, All right, you are doing propaganda at that point. It's no longer jokes, it's just propaganda. All right, you have a reach where you're actually telling the audience, the people, not just the audience, but society as a whole, how to treat other people. And that is the main problem with this. They are never just jokes. And this goes out to South Park. South Park does this a lot, where they never go hard on blacks or Jews, but they'll go hard on Asian Americans, LGBTs. They'll go hard on everybody else. And mind you, blacks and Jews are the original alphabet people, the NWACP-ADL. These are the two groups that are the Leviathans and Titanic of the whole social justice warrior movement. In fact, the whole social justice warrior movement was born out of them constantly going SJW against people who, against the culture that was negative towards their race. And ironically, these are the same people now who, after taking that train up the hill, they won't, these are the same people who are now turning Republican, and they don't want to send that train down for everybody else. All right, and it's just absolutely hypocritical and wrong. I've always said that social justice warrior is SJW, and social media is pretty much the great equalizer in all this. And all you people who are constantly saying this comedian's anti-woke, they're not anti-woke. They are woke for certain groups, and then they're anti-woke for other groups. That is the main problem. All right, when I hear anti-woke, okay, what I want to hear is they're anti-woke against every single group. All right, if Bill Burr went out and did the jokes that he did on feminists, on LGBTs, anybody else, if he did that on the same level as on blacks and Jews, if he goes after the whole Palestinian issues with Jews, and then he goes after the whole crime issue with blacks and the whole low IQ issue with blacks, etc., etc., I would say, hey, you know what? Bill Burr might be cool. He might be quote unquote anti-woke, but the guy is not anti-woke, okay? He's soft as hell on blacks and Jews, but he's absolutely prejudicial towards feminists, whoever else, feminists, LGBTs, Asian Americans, whatever else groups that he thinks he can get away with. Those are the kind of jokes that he does. All right, and like I said, they're not just jokes. They're actually setting up society. They're actually changing the way society treats other people, which is absolutely wrong if you're out there doing propaganda, influencing society on how to treat other people.